Hey, I'm Hayley Bohan. I am the author of Brand Worth Loving, How to Build an Authentic Small Business Brand That Inspires, and I am going to be speaking at Empowering Women in Business in St. John. And I invite you to come join me and join a room full of powerful women as we empower each other. Let's do it. See you there.
As a woman in business, where does your power come from?
Initially, I would say my power came from my desire to show my children that they could be anything and do anything. And I know you say that to your kids a lot. You say you can do anything, you can be anything, like the sky's the limit. But I truly believe that actions speak louder than words. And so I had to show them. And so I, before that, lived a life that was very secure, that I took the safe bet. And I was successful in, I spent 20 years in corporate marketing and I was very successful, but I always took the safe route. I was scared of failure. And so when they were, 6 or 7, I realized I had to show them so that they didn't be afraid, so that they weren't afraid. So that's where the power initially came from. But then as I kept doing things that were outside my comfort zone, I realized that I can do hard things and I have this power in me and I don't have to do it for someone else. And now that power is just part of who I am, and I will push and push and push and do harder things because I know that I can, because I've proven it to them and to myself.
What specific challenges do entrepreneurs face when it comes to establishing a strong and impactful brand?
I think the biggest challenge that they're facing is uncertainty. So I've worked with well over 150 small businesses at this point through my career, and they just don't know what to say. So they're doing marketing and they're being really wishy-washy. One day they stand for this, one day they stand for that, one day their big differentiator is something, and the next day they're talking, and everybody's confused. And when you confuse your audience, the market, then you don't see the kind of impact and results that you want. So I think for most entrepreneurs, it's that they really haven't done the work yet to clarify what they stand for, who they are, how they're different, and all those important things that their customers need to know and understand.
How can entrepreneurs address these challenges and build a brand that resonates with their audiences?
I think they have to do the work. I think that a lot of entrepreneurs, well, actually, I started my business because I had a friend who was an entrepreneur, and he wanted me to do his website. And so I was asking him all these questions and he didn't know the answers. And he had spent all this money for years on marketing, but didn't know key answers. How are you different? Who's your audience? What do they love about you? What do you stand for? And he just didn't know to do the work. So I think sometimes you don't know what you don't know. And for entrepreneurs, a lot of them don't know that there is this big chunk of foundational work that needs to be done so that they can have clarity in the market. And so I think they just need to follow the steps, do the work, dig deep, and then make concrete decisions and stop trying to be everything to everyone.
Could you please mention an example or examples of successful branding strategies?
Yes. I want to give you an example of one of my first clients. So when I started doing this business, I knew that brand strategy is one of the hardest things. I had been marketing for decades, and I had the luxury or burden, I guess, of being able to reposition some really big brands and also create some brands with a team. And it was the hardest thing I've ever done. So I knew that for small businesses, this is going to be really hard too. So when I started out, I took all this corporate information that I had, what did we do there, and I did a lot of research and I tested it on a bunch of people. And so then I created a method. So about a year in, I met this client. Her name's Crispin, and she has a company called Life Start Training. And she did not believe in anything I was doing. Like every single step of the way, she questioned. And like, it was scary for me because like, I don't like failure. And so I thought, oh my gosh, this isn't going to work for her. And it did. So what happened was when I looked at all of her marketing, it was very corporate, very serious, because life-saving skills are serious things. But she said, come to one of my classes where I'm teaching first aid and tell me what you think. So I went to the class. Well, she's like hilarious. She's almost a comedian. She's so funny. The class was so fun. Everybody was so engaged. And so you look at this experience that people are getting, and then you look at the marketing, and there was such a disconnect. So then I knew, okay, I can help this girl, but I'm going to have to answer all her questions. So she actually helped me to develop the strategy even further and deeper because she questioned so much. So we worked together. This was about 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago now. And she, figured out how she's different. So she's fun, she's funny. And so we had to start incorporating those things into her brand. She kind of knew that, but she wasn't marketing that way. So there was like this huge disconnect. We did buyer personas for like a bunch of different segments because depending on who they were, they needed different messaging and they cared about different things. So if you're a corporate person hiring training for your company, it's very different than if you're a fisherman who is just looking to like fit it in and have no books. So we did all that work, and when COVID hit, this is why I'm so proud of this particular one. So when COVID hit, they stopped doing first aid training. You didn't need to do it because how can you be super close up? And so her brand positioning at that time was hands-on. Like, we're hands-on. And so how do you be hands-on when you have to be hands-off? So she started to kind of unravel a bit. She ate a lot of ice cream, she said. And she realized that she kind of dug into her core values. So when we did the brand, we do your core values and what you want your business to be, but also like authentically, who are you? And so she was looking at these sticky notes on her wall, and it says Trailblazer. And she's like, okay, I gotta put the ice cream away and I gotta be a trailblazer right now. So she created this whole online course, which had never been done, with the she played 3 characters in a video because she couldn't have people. And anyways, she turned from being this one-person show to owning now a franchise company. So her brand is so strong that she's able to now sell franchises. So she's expanded into St. John, Moncton, Halifax. We've got approval to go into Manitoba, Saskatchewan. And so it's because her brand's so strong though. And obviously she's a go-getter, and like, it's not just her brand, it's never just the brand, it's the person behind the brand. But that to me is like a huge success story because she was so skeptical. You can read all about her in my book. She wrote the foreword for my book too.
What will your participation in Empowering Women in Business 2024 bring to St. John and Atlantic Canada?
I'm hoping that it brings inspiration. So my whole purpose of being in business, my purpose in writing the book that I wrote, is to inspire people to be the change, right? And that's not my sentence, obviously, but that's what it's about. And so I create this ripple effect of positivity, and I know that leaders, small business owners, they're the ones who can do it. They got the grit, they got the tenacity, they are courageous, they are who we need. And so if I can inspire them to figure out what lights their fire, what is that passion that they have, and then they go out and light the fire in it and like bring forth all this amazing positive change that we need. We need a lot of positive change. That's what this is about for me. It's about inspiring people to really take their power, be powerful, and do what you can do.
Thank you so much, Hayley, for being here with us.